Hey guys, Brandon Lewis here. We got some big story. Blackburn, according to one poll, opens her gubernatorial bid with a 52-point lead. Immigration Reform Group urges 22 attorney generals to review anti-American prosecution policies. Former Tennessee Education Commissioner, old Penny Wellness Check Schwinn, withdraws from consideration for federal level position, which is good for all kids out there. Vanderbilt hires law firm to conduct an independent review. I'm quite sure they needed to hire a law firm to see if the video of their staff talking about trying to hide DEI programs is actually what it is, which we all know it is. Tennessee prisoner execution sparks national controversy over death penalty process, and Washington County is embroiled with the conflict, as it often is, with the do-nothing RINOs working against the conservatives, and Chair Goodrich calls for unity. It is Brandon Lewis, the Tennessee Conservative News. Before we get into these stories, guys, 5 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday, depending on when you watch this, is the cutoff deadline to come to Tellico Village Yacht Club and celebrate conservatism with a bunch of wonderful patriots with a great view. I would rather be in a room full of hundreds of conservatives than a handful of RINOs. And so this is the place you want to be. There's a link around or below this video. Guys, we need your support. The coffers are low. They always are. But they're lower than usual here in the dregs of summer as people have kind of checked out until the legislative session tunes back in. So if you want us to stay around, I always say this, if you ever hear that the publication folds, it will be because of finances and no other reason. So conservatives do this, but about 90% of our givers are the same ones over and over again. And when you look at the list overall, 90% of people don't give. And yet we wonder why we don't have conservative media. So click that button. Further, if you're running for political office, you will find another link around this video for the Conservative Candidates Academy. And that's coming up on August 20th. You know, I see so many, I got to get in the shade over here. I see so many good conservatives run for office, and they are not successful. Not because they are not conservative enough, not because their heart's not in the right place, but simply because running campaigns effectively is very complicated, and it takes a lot of knowledge, it takes a lot of experience, it takes a mind that is specifically built to do sales, marketing, and operations, which is what a campaign is in a compressed nature, and to understand the true strategies, the tools, the tactics that can help you win on election day. So if you know of anybody who's thinking about running for office, or if you're a conservative incumbent and you know that the RINO establishment's going to be gunning for you, and they always do, Conservative Candidates Academy is what you need to go to. So look around this video. Jason Vaughn will post a link in there. Please do text 423-205-5600. Text the word news, N-E-W-S, to 423-205-5600 so that you can get on our e-newsletter list and follow us on Gab, Getter, Truth, MeWe, and Rumble. On to the first story. With nearly a year left in the primary, Thursday morning, Beacon Center of Tennessee said that Blackburn is leading Representative John Rose 66% to 14% in the race for governor. A general Democratic candidate, as the poll called, would either trail the Republican by 19%, which we know. Now, listen, it's early. It is way early. I've watched this stuff play out forever. When you're a statewide candidate and you have put a chair in every county, when you have federal money that you can boost your own name ID versus a congressperson who only typically has name ID in their own district, this is not surprising at all. This is the biggest advantage of a statewide candidate running for statewide office again. Like, this should not shock anyone. You know, it takes a lot of time, energy, and effort. When Trump ran for office, people kept talking about DeSantis and other challengers, and I said, listen, that ain't, number one, he connects better than anybody in my adult lifetime with the Republican base. Number two, you don't put a chairman in every county across the United States and develop a fundraising network and everything else and all the professionals that go into running a presidential campaign, and then someone walk in from a single state and upend all that. And so I continued to say that as people talked about it, because in my mind, because I'm a professional campaigner, I was just looking at it not through the emotional lens of what most politically interested people look through, but I'm looking at it through the campaign standpoint. The biggest threat to Marsha Blackburn will be a businessman of some description that has a lot of money. Typically one runs every year. If you're one of those people, pick up the phone and call me. I'd like to at least talk to you and see what you're about. They run, right? And they don't have the burden of carrying a voting record. They don't have the burden of carrying a voting record. And while Marsha has great name recognition, if somebody can purchase their own, she would be in trouble because, some folks are like really ebullient and connect. For Tim Burchett, for example. And then some folks connect okay in person and through media, and some people kind of not as well. And so if somebody who's very charismatic that has a lot of money gets in this race, it's going to be a completely different deal. So don't don't count your chickens before they're hatched. Immigration Reform Group urges 22 attorneys, generals rather, to review anti-American prosecution policies. The Federal American Immigration Reform, which is called FAIR, has sent their latest investigative report exposing how certain progressive prosecutors are creating a two-tiered justice system favoring illegal aliens to 22 attorney generals, including Tennessee's, calling on them to review and take legal action against unconstitutional anti-American practices. And they are saying that a lot of these illegal aliens are getting deliberately lenient charges, plea deals, citizens that non-citizen defenders would not get. And the report analysis asserts that these relaxed policies are based in Soros-funded ideology, etc. And we all know folks that go through the DUI mill, that go through the arrest mill, right? If you're not a citizen here and you get arrested for something and you're supposed to show up for a court date, you just don't show up, right? You're already here illegally. I mean, there's nothing to lose. You're getting paid under the table. And so often American citizens are treated much worse than illegal aliens and have been for several years. And so hopefully that is on the move in a different direction. Former Tennessee Education Commissioner who did a terrible, awful job. I can't even believe this lady's name was ever in the running. I know there's a lot of appointments. Trump can't have his hand on every single thing, but how this lady got through the vetting process is amazing. The fact that she's withdrawn her name is great. Maybe she can go to some other state and create an abysmal record. Now, this is the same lady that cooked up this Orwellian scheme during COVID that every child in the state of Tennessee, not just the ones in public schools, were going to get a call from a social worker to see how their mental health was, to see if their parents were treating them okay because they weren't in government schools all day. I don't know if this thing's 30, 40 pages, got cooked up. People had to know about it. It got leaked out and it got killed. This is the lady who thinks the government should raise your children. Not only is she the lady that thinks the government should raise your children, the academic performance under her tenure was awful. It's always awful, but particularly awful under her. So Schwinn is withdrawn for being considered for a federal level position in the U.S. Department of Education. Education is one of those few things where you can just abysmally fail and then just keep climbing. You can't do that in business. You can't do that in athletics. You can't do it in life, but you can do it in government education. Schwinn decided to step aside, largely because of a lot of conservative opposition. Having secured enough votes to take a roll call advising the DOE secretary, a position that requires no confirmation process, she served as our education commissioner under Bill Lee, who is, I think, the worst governor in Tennessee's history, during which she received a lot of criticism. Andy Ogles, who I like, called for Schwinn's removal in September of 2020. Schwinn quickly scrapped plans for the well-being checks after they had been put out there. And so, good. And she's also the one that pushed the wit and wisdom curriculum, which is DEI all wrapped up, which is so funny, right? Trump comes in. He's trying to get all this stuff out of the schools, and here's the lady pushing it. It's amazing. So, I'm glad she's gone. Good riddance. Go run something else. I'm sure you're well on your way. Vanderbilt law firm, damage control, to conduct an independent review of video showing staff talking about renaming DEI programs. This is going on in universities all over Tennessee. Why in the world Republicans in power, because they're really not conservative, continue to fund and not police these basically Democrat manufacturing plants in a Republican state, which is what almost all universities are, just baffles the mind. It really doesn't, I suppose. But Baker Donaldson's firm will investigate the footage that was recorded secretly by an outside entity, and per university protocol, the staff who are involved have been removed from their regular duties while the investigation takes place. They should be fired. They should never come back to work, not on the taxpayer dime. In addition to clarifying specific details of what transpired in the video, Baker Dalton will give a list of recommendations to Vanderbilt regarding the steps. Like, what? Now, here's another thing. Who needs to waste a ton of taxpayer money to hire a high-powered law firm to look at videos of folks basically being liars? Just say, hey, man, people's lying here. Here's your bill for $300,000. Here's some recommendations. Hey, closed-circuit transmission to Vanderbilt, you show me the videos. I can write you up a 3-page documentation report. I'll charge you $5,000. I'm waiting. Just, you can reach out. Brandon at TennesseeConservativeNews.com. Vanderbilt affiliates were informed by email of the new requirements that bring them into compliance with Trump's January 20th executive order. So on and so forth. I don't care. We know this stuff's going on. Guys, please help us stay in business. I have to come, it's like I don't know. You know, I always get aggravated when I drive up and down the street to Chattanooga and other places in Tennessee and all over the nation. When you see folks that don't want to work and they got their hand out, and I'm like, gosh, just go get a job. But sometimes I wonder if I might do better. Standing. I think I could probably make, I don't make any money around the Tennessee Conservative, but I think I could clear about as much revenue, perhaps, as the Tennessee Conservative takes in, being a very good, convincing panhandler. I think I could get out there and make it happen. I'm pretty good at point of sales, but we need your money. We've got a great event coming up at the Teleco Village. You can find the link, as I mentioned previously, around this video. And you don't have to come, right? We got folks that have been generous enough to sponsor. I got to check in with the folks down there to see what we think we're going to clear. Hopefully it's enough to get through this next session. It's just hard for me to get out there, right? If I spend 10 hours raising money for the Tennessee Conservative, I lose $10,000 in my other business because I could be doing something else. And so it's just this weird situation I'm placed in. So guys, chip in. TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support if you want to just give directly on the page. If not, look for the link around here. We need recurring donations. Every month I'm like, how much is going to come in? I don't know. We'll see. And the answer is always not much. Next story, Tennessee prisoner execution sparks national controversy over death penalty after issuing a stay of all executions in 2020 over concerns about the state's lethal injection protocols. This guy's a dummy. Bill Lee, we're killing them. We're killing them. It's the death penalty. If they're not being tortured to death, and if it's relatively swift, I think we should just move on. Black, 69, was convicted of murdering his ex-girlfriend and her 2 daughters, aged 6 and 9, in 1988. 40 years. Arguing Black's intellectual disability, I'm sure his wife and ex-girlfriend and 2 daughters, if they were brought up, would probably, they get a say. And we've been paying for this guy for 40 years. Amazing. People have asked for him to have his sentence commuted. A lower court initially ordered the medical device to be deactivated. The Tennessee Supreme Court and U.S. Supreme Court overturned the decision. You know, justice should be swift. If you want to deter a behavior, you don't spank your kid 40 years after they reach into the cookie jar, after you've told them not to. I don't know what's happened. Like we're living in cuckoo land here. Last story, Washington County, Tennessee Republican Executive Committee evenly deadlocked between ideological factions. There's a new sheriff in town, and her name is Danielle Goodrich, a constitutional conservative, and I know that to be a fact. Her election as chair of the Washington County Republican Party is not sitting well with a number of the old guard establishment players. We love the old guard, right? The old way of doing things, where people get an R beside their name, and we all gather together in a room, and we clap like seals, no matter what their voting record is, and we don't give, and we don't knock doors, and we don't do anything, and we don't hold them accountable for conservatism, but we're just political groupies. This faction is in every county, and they're alive and well in my own in Hamilton County. Goodrich stated the following in part to her response of Wheeler's letter. The solution is not to overthrow the will of the people, as Mr. Wheeler recommends. It's not to redo the election, because some people don't like the outcome, because when folks lose, they never do. The solution for Mr. Wheeler and Malone and others to work to find common ground, etc. Goodrich points out that her response in the letter to the state party chairman that she and other county executive committee members were elected to the party membership in the reorganization. Free and fair elections, unless you lose. Then it's called, go run into Daddy Golden. You know, Danielle pulled my hair. Jeez. These folks are made of pretty weak stuff. Guys, I missed you last week. Where was I? We don't know. I was on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. First time I went there, I was like, this is okay. Second time I went there, I had a little extra time on my hands, got to explore the area. During the 1980s, my dad had a vinyl top shop. Many of you listening to this don't even know what a vinyl top is. They used to put these vinyl colored tops on cars. They'd rust them out and stuff, but it was like a fashion thing. I'm sure it'll come back one day. Just like mom jeans. Ugh, I'd like to see those things go away. But he put vinyl tops on. We were so poor. I don't think I've told you before. Dad had clubfoot, facial deformities. You know, we lived just poverty-stricken. And he had bought this old rundown building, or maybe leased it. I assume he didn't buy it. Leased it down in Gulfport, where my Uncle Dan lived. And he would work in it, and he built a little efficiency apartment in the back. When I say efficiency, like there was a sink, there's some counter out of some old drugstore or something in there. There's a bed and a toilet, didn't even have like a wall around it. And and a shower stall. It's like all in one room. And so I would sit in there and goof off and play around in the shop while Dad was, you know, putting on the vinyl tops, which is a very fumey business, which might explain some of my intellectual stuntedness. It's because I hung around a bunch of fumes as a child. And he'd work till about 3 o'clock. And then he'd take me to the beach. And so I had fond memories. So I went down a couple of days early. And I went and looked at some of my old Uncle Dan's addresses off of the census. Didn't ring any bells. I drove around looking for this shop, which is a fool's errand, around all of those locations, because I knew it was pretty close, or at least I thought it was. But instead, what I got to do is hang out by a pool with, I don't know, about 12 of my fraternity brothers. And we just had a blast, you know, telling lies and reminiscing and catching up, and it was a lot of fun. I got to explore Ocean Springs, which I think is a neat little community down there. I don't feel like it holds a candle to St. Simon's, where I typically go, which is fun down in Georgia. But it was a nice trip. So I was out of town. So I'm sorry. But even old Bill's got to take a vacation every once in a while. And luckily, we've got amazing staff that are always able and willing to fill in when I'm out. So what's going on this weekend at the Lewis household? Well, tomorrow we're going to a baby shower. We're going to a baby shower down in Carrollton, Georgia, with my wife's family to catch up with them and celebrate a new addition to the family. And so that's going to be a great time. I'll be down there all day, hanging out with the kinfolk. And then we're coming back. We're going to go to church on Sunday at 11. And then I'm going to go to the gym. And then the weekend will be over. Then we'll start it all over again, right? Start it all over again. So what's going on with you? I hope, after I left this out, Monday, I guess, is attached to the weekend. I'll be at the Telco Village. And so I hope that you can come out and join me. It always warms my heart to see conservatives gathered together. I always say the Tennessee conservatives like the Holy Spirit. Wherever two conservatives are gathered in Tennessee, we're there also. So if you've got an event, I know I tell this to you all the time. If you've got an event, email it, news@TennesseeConservativeNews.com. We will put it on the event page. We'll run it in the newsletter, because we want folks to know about these opportunities that are going on. In closing, guys, we got to be vigilant and vigilant. Do both of them. We've got to be vigilant because the elections are coming up in 2026. We've got a legislative session that will be going on here before we know it. And there's a lot of really good bills. Gino Bolso's Trump Act, the bill that Bo Watson and William Lambert carried to start the process, hopefully, of alleviating Tennessee taxpayers of paying $800 million a year in illegal immigrant education while we continue to do this. When we say our schools are underfunded and overcrowded, I have no idea. It's because we lack the political will to do it. So we got a lot of work to do on this and other issues, chemtrails. That's not something I care that much about, but a lot of people do. A variety of issues with corporate welfare, property tax reform, gosh, these municipalities are running these seniors out of retirement. This has got to stop. We can't have low taxes in Tennessee and still allow these counties and municipalities to rape and pillage at will the constituents that they represent, or don't, I guess I should say. So, guys, gird your loins. I know that we've had we've had an easy summer. I don't know that I have, but we've had an easy summer. But it's time to get back to work here soon. Guys, if you can contribute, TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support. If you can't come, if you go to the Tellico Village page and you click through, there's ways to sponsorship and give in lieu of attendance, and I would really appreciate it. We need more people that are on our subscriber list to actually give. I don't know, would people listen to this or hear it and they don't do anything? I'm like, yeah, what kind of cloth are you cut from? It ain't the cloth I'm cut from. I put my money and my time where my mouth is, I always have, and we need more people to do it. If you're one that does, I appreciate it. Until next time, it's old Brandon Lewis saying I love you, I mean it, stay free. Take care.